Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Chris, and welcome back to, once again, the finale, actually, of the Survivor recaps and predictions for Survivor Kaoh Rong with my good friend, Gocubs 711.
This one goes out to a truly brave soldier. I heard there was a tennis game. Boo laced his shoes and Bowser came. But you don't really care for tennis, I see. It goes like this, a game said match, and on his hat he wore a patch. Inverted L, his name was Waluigi. 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 Waluigi.
Fantastic. Was that what song? Like, where does that come from at all?
You know the song Hallelujah that plays during Shrek?
Oh no, I know that song. Yeah. But like, where did the parody come from?
Oh, Tumblr.
Oh, perfect.
The lyrics are on Tumblr. Yeah.
Tumblr creates a lot of magical things.
There's a second verse, but the second verse isn't well written to fit the
tune.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna sing that one.
Yeah, and we'll run out of time anyway, as if we have time limit.
We don't have time limits. What the fuck are you talking about?
Welcome, guys, to the finale of the Survivor Kaoh Rong recap, which means it is the part one finale of our 3-part series, which will go across all of 2016.
Yep.
So it's good to be here. We were very excited about it. It's been a great season to this point. And without any further ado, let's dive right into where we left off. So we start things off back at the Dara Beach, where the remaining 4 are sleeping underneath some sort of just weird dream catcher bed, however it just ended up turning out. However, Mark the Chicken did not want people to sleep, and he woke everyone up. But Ty, everyone knew Ty knew that if he picked up the chicken and left, it would be better for everyone. So he picked up the chicken and he went to the beach, sat down for a little bit. And the next morning, Ty and Aubrey plot to get Sydney on their side. They want Michelle to go first because of how good her personal relationships are. And Sydney is weighing her options, but she tells Michelle that she likes the idea of a female Final 3. So then, we get to the reward challenge, and I was surprised that there was a reward challenge.
Yeah, that was really weird. I thought that was immunity, and then at the end, like, the flag came up and said reward. I probably just wasn't paying attention, but it didn't fully click until the flag at the end came up and said reward.
Right.
That was a reward challenge.
Yeah, and I like just to me, I thought like when you're talking Final 4,
right?
You really just you throw the rewards out the window. You really stick with the immunity. So yeah, so this was the reward challenge. So the players will race under a net. They'll then slide tiles through a target. Then they'll balance the tiles on a machete and carry them throughout a series of obstacles. From there, they'll match the tiles to figure out a combination and then raise a flag. The winner will receive a meal that is designed to refuel your body. And it was a very close battle. I think everyone was on or almost everyone was on like the combination part near the end. And thus we got Aubrey winning her first challenge, her first ever challenge, I believe. Am I correct or no?
What
was Aubrey's Aubrey's win? Was that was her first challenge win, right?
It might have been, yeah.
Yeah, so she won the reward challenge. I swore I felt like she won an immunity before.
I don't know,
but I don't know. I mean, I guess so. Anyways, she won a reward challenge, and she ended up picking Sydney to go. And the reason why was just because she wanted to get Sydney alone, so that way she can convince her to go with Ty and get out Michelle. So back at camp,
and also to get Sydney strong so that she would have a better chance of winning immunity against
Michelle.
In the next tribal, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. So back at camp, Sydney and Aubrey were enjoying their meal. Aubrey lets us know that she wants, and it says right here, she wants Sydney to be strong so that way she beats Michelle. And so Sydney lets us know that she is fine with Michelle or Ty going home next. And you know what was really interesting too was when like she was listing off her ideal scenarios, she did say that her ideal scenario would be and Aubrey, Ty, and herself, Final 3, and then a Aubrey, Michelle, and herself, Final 3. So yeah. I thought that was interesting because I thought that she was closer with Michelle than Aubrey, but clearly not. I think that she just cared about Aubrey more. So that was interesting. So then, meanwhile, Michelle makes a move to get Ty on her side, and he claims to be into voting out Aubrey, but he wasn't very convincing. And he really just was not looking in her eye at all. But he said that he would portray his alliance for the $1 million. So who knows? So then we get to the immunity challenge finally, and then the players will race out into the water to retrieve a key. They'll race back and unlock stairs to get a new key. They'll race back into the water to get another key, and they'll race back and forth until they get puzzle pieces. And the first person to complete the stacking puzzle wins immunity. And this was a very tough challenge. You had Aubrey out pretty early.
Aubrey was dominating at the beginning.
Yeah, Aubrey was very dominant, followed by Sydney. And then we had Ty and then Michelle, I believe. And then all of a sudden they all caught up with each other.
As Jeff put it, the puzzle, the great equalizer.
Right. And not only the Aubrey, I believe it was Sydney who was leading, like, closer to the beginning. Aubrey and Sydney ended up falling behind here. Oh no! All right, sorry about that, guys. We were
my internet shit out.
Yeah, and I was hearing that throughout. You're very much fading in and out at the end during that whole beginning piece, but that's okay. That's okay. We heard everything that you said, but it was just very staticky.
Okay.
So hopefully everything will run smoothly here. So yeah, so where we left off. So Aubrey and Sydney, they were in the lead for the most part in the beginning of the challenge, but then it came down to Ty and Michelle to win the whole thing because the puzzle, I guess, helped them catch up, and Michelle ended up taking the immunity. Michelle ends up winning, and she gets to move on to the Final 3. So back at Dara Beach,
I was very not happy.
Yeah, but hey, I mean, now it'll be interesting to see who turns on who. So back at Dara Beach, Ty and Aubrey toss around the idea of forcing a tie vote, fire-making challenge, which would be the fire-making challenge. However, Aubrey doesn't have confidence in Ty's loyalty, and then later, Michelle and Sydney are worried that Aubrey will clean up the jury votes. So Sydney's a little concerned though, and asks if she should start working on her fire-making skills. Michelle tells her not to. Michelle approaches Ty and tells him that she's going to vote for Aubrey, and Ty is very excited because he thought that he was definitely going to go, especially since he targeted Michelle. So, anyways, that night at Tribal, Ty says that the alliances are out the door now. Aubrey thinks that the person who goes to the jury will have a lot of information about what happened in the game. Sydney votes depends on who has a better chance who she has a better chance against, and Aubrey thinks the threats and weaknesses are in the eye of the beholder. So now we get to the voting. No votes are shown. And Probst Talizer returns. We've got 1 vote for Aubrey, 1 vote for Sydney, 1 vote for Aubrey, and 1 vote for Sydney. And we got a tie.
Fire!
And we're not talking the tie as in the contestant. We're talking a tie, a TIE.
Fire!
And we have to now go to the fire making challenge for the
I'm so happy.
for the second time in 3 seasons. In the past 3 seasons.
I love fire making.
And I again, the fact that I experienced it the first time, I knew the excitement that was about to happen the second time. So it was it's going to be a good battle between Sydney and Aubrey. So now, first person to build a fire large enough to burn through their rope gets to stay. So if you saw the stand, you have like the tree stump that they are on with like the materials to make a fire, as well as like this like stand that has like a rope on top and then a flag on the side.
Burn through the rope.
Yeah, and so then the fire would burn through the rope and raise the flag. So you just have to make the fire high enough.
Can I do the recap for this?
Absolutely, you could go through it.
All right. So basically, they both kind of struggled to get fire first, but then Aubrey got it, started building it. It went so fucking high. It was kind of blown over to the side of it, but it was a big fire. And then it didn't cut through the rope. It burnt down into cinders. Meanwhile, Sydney still has not gotten her grass to catch fire. So like fuck. Yeah. And then Aubrey builds it back up. It's a lot straighter, and she cuts through the rope, winning. That was the most stressed out I've ever been the entire time.
Yeah.
This entire season. That was fucking awesome.
It was a great challenge.
If you were watching Neil, that was me.
Yeah. It was a great. It was so much fun to watch. And to have. I felt like those were the two strongest people remaining, and to have Sydney be eliminated in that fire to make a challenge, it was tough, especially since she ended up breaking down a little, and she says that she was hoping to win to help her mother. It was a very sentimental moment, and you felt bad, and you kind of saw the look on Aubrey's face, like, did I just make a $1 million mistake? Keeping Ty instead of Sydney, so you kind of saw that happen. It was interesting. It was very interesting. So back at camp now. So now it's the final 3. You got Aubrey, you got Ty, you got Michelle. So back at camp, Aubrey says she knew it was Sydney or her, and then Michelle tells Ty that she thinks that he just handed her $1 million. And later, Michelle is psyched about the Final 3 breakfast. However, Ty points out that Probst didn't do his usual end-of-game spiel. He didn't say, this is the Final 3, congratulations. He was like, no, there's still work to be done. Grab your torches, head back to camp. Did not give anything congratulatory, and it was very suspicious. So Ty has a right to worry, but Michelle was just like, no, never. And Aubrey too. Aubrey was like, no, it's alright. There's not going to be another challenge. Cut to Tree Mail describing the final challenge. Fuck!
Yeah. That was quite the surprise. I liked how not even the contestants were sure whether it was going to be final 2 or 3, because you can't fucking tell these days.
Right. But it was cool. I had a pretty good feeling that it was going to be final 2, or so we may think. We get to the challenge, and Probst's like, nope, it's not an immunity challenge. So then you're like, what the fuck? And he tells them,
congratulations, you are the final 3.
Yeah, he tells them that the final tribal council, and that's it. That's the final 3. So then he says that the winner of the challenge will get to vote out a jury member.
Yeah. When Probst said, congratulations, you are the final 3, I turned to my mom and I go, they're going to get to vote out a jury member. And then he said it, and I was like, holy shit, I was right.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, to me, a really cool twist and something that we never really thought of before. Like, the jury...
None of us knew that was going to happen. No one could have predicted something like that.
Although, to be fair, SurvivorFan.com, who is who also runs the Big Brother Network, who I follow and I'm a big fan of, they said that according to their sources, they knew that was going to happen, that there was some sort of jury vote out type thing. So they knew.
What are their fucking sources?
I have no idea, but they had their insider sources tell them that, and they knew it before the finale. But regardless, I didn't pay much attention to it until it finally happened. So I love the twist. I think that it definitely adds a little intrigue into the game, because you don't know, if you choose the right person, you could take out a powerhouse jury member, and that could shift the whole game. So that would get to the jury elimination challenge.
It really just completely changes the game, because you don't. Yeah. There's no like set rule about what you're supposed to do. That's never been done before.
Absolutely. And it is insane. It is just an insane twist, especially near the end. So the players will balance on a wobbly beam and try to stack balls using a pole, and the first person to stack the balls, all their to balance. I'm sorry, the first person to stack all their balls gets to eliminate a juror. And it was a good back and forth battle for a while, and then you had like it kind of reminded me of the rope challenge and spelling out immunity, and how like it kind of like it, no matter how far ahead
version of that,
right, and no matter how further ahead you get, it doesn't matter, because you can just tumble and then you're back to square one. Type thing. And Michelle yet again wins the jury, or wins the challenge, and then gets to eliminate a jury member.
I thought Aubrey was gonna like get that up there and pull her thing away really quickly, and she did pull her stick away really quickly, but it caused it to fall.
Yeah, no, she got it, but she didn't. And she pulled it away, and it caused the whole thing to collapse. And so basically Michelle gets it. Probst gives her a special parchment and a note to read, because she is going to reveal to the jury about the twist. And sure enough, Ty and Michelle debate the point of getting out Joe, because Joe is an easy vote for Aubrey. And Gordon Holmes here, who I'm using his recap to kind of refresh our memory. A good line here. First he can't pee, and now he can't vote. So later, Aubrey points out that Joe is the least likely to make a big scene at Tribal, which is a very good point, and this causes Michelle to consider Scott. And this concerns Ty, because he thinks Scott could be voting for him. So the people on the table, because it's not all picked out here, you got Joe, Neil, who could be a powerhouse to get out to vote for Aubrey, Scott, and Jason, another convincing person who can say,
I don't know why Neil wasn't number one to begin with.
Right? Yeah, because he can persuade.
He can persuade, and he's obviously voting for Aubrey.
Right, exactly. There's no way. So then that tribal council, the jurors are abuzz because there's no immunity necklace. Michelle reads her note about eliminating a juror. Now the jurors are even more abuzz. And then Michelle says that she took note of how Ty and Aubrey were trying to steer her at camp. Ty says that it's important to take out someone who could be voting against you, but also someone that had like a very big voice during like jury deliberations, so who could sway people one way or another. So We get to the votes. Obviously, no votes are going to be shown. And Probst tallies and returns.
They didn't really have to do that.
Yeah, they could have just said it, but dramatic.
Yeah.
And
my mom pointed that out. I was like, Mom, you don't understand. They got to make a show out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And the eliminated juror is
Neil,
along with a little ice cream little emoticon thing that she drew on there. So as Neil walks out, he tells Michelle that he doesn't think she stands a chance. And like I forget what the exact wording was. Like you came into this game like a bad bitch. Think you're a bad bitch. You're just a cute puppy, suckling at the cute little puppy suckling at teeth, hoping to stay on for the ride or something like that. Something weird. And so he's just salty AF, and he leaves. And Probst deadpans that it sounds like that she made the right choice. And so the trio returns to camp, where Mark is waiting for them in the hammock. And basically Aubrey is just kind of like, well, my game just might have gone out the window with that elimination, but I'm still in this game, and we'll see what happens. The next morning, the group is treated to a mirror and a scale. Then they receive the traditional Day 39 brunch. And it basically is like they all give, and Survivor always does this. People they give a chance to recap their 3 games because they just get rid of the opening statements in the beginning anyway. So,
yeah.
So they do like the whole like the 3 confessionals, and then we go to tribal. We go to tribal for the very last time for Survivor Kaoh Rong. And Ty brings Mark the chicken!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Jeff said in the live show earlier, there's going to be a special guest at the tribal, and like, just why not? I said, dude, what if it's Tony because he won the last Brain Prawn Beauty?
Right, yeah.
I would have been like, I would have loved to see Tony.
And it's just like, he's like, imagine they just like Paul like just fucking shit. It's just like, well, no, Tony's part of the jury. Wait, what the fuck? He hasn't even been around.
Yeah.
It's just like, it makes no sense. I can't sell everything. What the hell?
That would be interesting though. Have someone on the jury who hasn't been a part of the season and is voting solely on their jury please.
That, you know what? I think we just gave Survivor a good idea. You hear that, producers?
Listening to this.
Yeah, producers. We know you watch every single episode of us. You gotta follow through on that.
We'll take $4 each.
Yes, $4 each, because that is it is an expensive twist. All right, so then we get Mark the Chicken coming along with the final 3 tribal, and so Jeff starts out with his whole soliloquy, whatever, his whole spiel, and then Nick leads us off. He tells them that there will be a lot of animosity, and that some of them might not get a question. He tells Michelle to display intelligence. He tells Ty to display awareness. And he tells Aubrey to display confidence. And they make sure the Tin Man displays heart, as Gordon Holmes says here. Then Debbie goes second. She wants to know if Ty has more than one personality because he was so indecisive. He says that he turned on Sky and Jason because they targeted Aubrey, and that they're just too strong in the game. Debbie then calls Aubrey a geek warrior. It reminds her of when she tried to drop out. She asked if Aubrey would have saved her if the roles have been reversed. Yeah, I don't know why it says reserved here. Aubrey says it was painful of her to betray Debbie after helping her when she had heat stroke. And she then says that they were headed in opposite directions, and Debbie was too much of a threat. Julia goes third and points out that Michelle was the weak link in the beauty tribe. She even calls Michelle just a number. Julia goes on to say that she was proud of Michelle when she voted her out because she made a big move finally. Michelle says that all of her moves were well thought out. Julia then tells Ty that he was the opposite because he went from being a threat pre-merge to less so after. Ty claims that he didn't have to make moves after a while because he was comfortable with his alliance. Joe bats cleanup. He calls Ty selfless and hardworking. He then asks why Ty deserves it more than Aubrey. Ty mentions the idol he found in the vote that he won as well. He then asks why Aubrey deserves his vote over Ty. She claims that Ty came to her with information, but she had to make the moves. She also points out that she was always on the right side of the vote after the merge. We get Jason next. He tells them that he doesn't know who he's voting for. Jason points out that Michelle wasn't in the know when Scott was at home. Michelle says she didn't know because they trusted her more than they trusted Ty. And then Jason wants to know why Ty left him and Scott. Ty said it was because he was scared of how close they were. Sydney is 6th. She asks Aubrey if it was always the plan to get rid of her. At File 4, Aubrey says Michelle was the target, but she won immunity. She then says she targeted Sydney because she'd do the same thing. Then Aubrey asks Michelle if she knew that they were going to target Sydney. Michelle says that she didn't. Scott is up last. He tells Ty he blew his extra vote and his immunity idol. He then he then asks Aubrey why he should vote for her. Aubrey says it's because he respects competition. Scott then says that Michelle would have been his last vote 4 tribals ago, but Michelle got stronger as the game went on, and Ty and Aubrey got weaker. So let's talk about some of these questions here, because I completely, utterly disagree with what Scott said. Absolutely.
Yep.
Minus the Ty thing. Ty, yes, I think he got strong. He was strong in the beginning, got weaker. But Aubrey was weak in the beginning and got stronger over time.
I don't understand how Aubrey got weaker. She stayed pretty consistent the entire time after, she rose up and then stayed consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when 2 of Aubrey's allies were taken out of the game for medical evacuation, she still fucking made it to the final 3.
Yep. And I absolutely agree. And I think that I don't know.
This is where the anger starts.
I know, because I feel like Scott and Scott just completely said that as if there was all the truth in the world to it, but there wasn't. It made no sense.
True.
It made absolutely no sense whatsoever, and it shocks me that he would make a plea like that, and that is when the worry set in for me, because I was like, wait a minute, this guy just almost convinced me that Aubrey was strong in the beginning, they got weaker.
Yeah.
And
Aubrey was never that weak. Well, she was at the beginning, but
and this is why, probably why Michelle made the move that she did in the very last tribal. And
getting rid of Neil was a very smart thing on Michelle's part.
Yeah. So, with that being said, let's think about the other points that were made. Julia brings up with Michelle that she was just the weak link of the BA tribe. She was just a number, which I can agree with, and that she got stronger, which I do also agree with. I think Michelle got stronger throughout the game. I think that Michelle had such a just a turnaround after she voted out Julia, because I think that she was really involved socially. And she made the moves that she did. And she played a very good
very successful endgame.
Endgame, absolutely. And also going to Debbie, Debbie was talking about how Aubrey was this there you go. Go to Debbie. What Debbie said, and it completely counteracts Scott's points. And Debbie is like, you started out crying in the shelter and really sick and wanting to pull yourself out of the game, but you didn't, and you've come out a warrior. You came out fighting, and you were just an awesome person to watch.
Yes.
Grow.
Because Debbie, for the one time in my life, I agree with Debbie.
Right. we'll talk about it later, but the fact that like they're in the recap show, they're like, "Oh, Debbie was a fan favorite." I'm just like, "Was she? Was she really? I don't know about that." I think
she was then compared to Philip.
That's true, but she's I guess it's because she's just a very interesting character.
She was weird. He also mentioned Rupert there,
right?
Who is a fan favorite?
But... Oh, of course. And yeah, Joe is pretty straightforward. I guess I like Joe is just kind of like, Michelle, I know what you're about. So Ty and Aubrey, was just like, whoa, complete like just sweep under the table, just then. And then Jason, who I was kind of surprised about, I think he truly did not know what the fuck he was doing, and who he's voting for. And so he basically displayed that throughout when he actually went up to vote. He kind of like was standing there for a little while. And yeah, I think that covers basically all the and then like Nick just saying what he did.
It was a weird jury statement.
It was pretty unique. So let's get to the main attraction now, because Probst, but first actually, Probst does let them give closing arguments, which we haven't seen in a little while.
No.
Aubrey says her game evolved and she used a lot of strategies as she beat Sydney in a fire challenge. Ty claims he believes in goodness and they shouldn't have to stab each other in the back. And then he starts to get very upset. And then finally Michelle. First of all, the Ty speech. It was a very unique speech, and I think that the person that wrote this recap says, like, it was all over the place a little bit, but I think it's just that he was happy that he got to meet everyone, and that he just thinks that the world should not be a place where we stab each other in the back, which is really, as much to me, I think no matter how you look at Ty and his game and how it did start so strong and fall apart, regardless of how he played Survivor, he is a really, really good person.
He is amazing.
He is a really, really good person. And I think that
I'm glad that somebody like Ty could be able to come on the show and show the beauty in the world.
Exactly, and show that there are good people like him in the world. And he's right though, and I think he took the game a little too seriously, saying like, "Oh, we all stab each other back," which you kind of have to do in a game like Survivor.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about in real life, yeah, I think people stab each other in the back all the time without any remorse, or just are completely shit on each other without any remorse, and it's just shitty thing to live with, and it's just, and so I completely understand where he was coming from on that front. But so that was what happened, and then finally Michelle says that Nick said that she had to be intelligent, but she had to keep her cool and have faith in her game, and she was very proud of that. And I think now this is the part where I'm like just sitting there, I'm just like, this is easily going to be a battle between Aubrey and Michelle, and there's a part of me, especially the way they edited it, that I think it might be Michelle, but who knows. So voting time goes. Julia votes for Michelle, Joe votes for Aubrey, and the rest will have to wait till Probst gets to Los Angeles, which I really wish that Jeff had the same exact outfit that he did when he walks off, because he used to do that. It was like he was walking through the woods, and then all of a sudden he just arrives on the stage. But now it's just like he just carries it into the studio, and she's like in this like weird black sweater that makes his muscles like fucking pop, because he just likes his body. I don't know.
Makes his muscles have muscles.
Yeah. He was just like, hey, 2.5 Men, if you ever come back from being canceled, I could be naked again for you guys. Whatever. So, I'm in that shape. So, it is time to head to Studio City, and...
Oh, they let Mark the Chicken go, by the way.
Oh yes, of course, that's right. Ty had to. He could not bring Mark back to the States, and he had to let him go. Hopefully, Mark lived out, or even continues to live out his life. I don't know how long the chicken lifespan is. But...
He's if provided he wasn't eaten, he would still be alive by now because that was filmed last summer.
Yeah. So, we hope you're still out there, Mark the Chicken. We hope. I was hoping that like one of them would like just find like an animal cage and bring him over, but I don't know if I think Mark's stress levels would be out of the world, and that alone would probably damage him. So, anyways, time to get to the moment we've all been waiting for. We get 1 vote for Michelle, 2 votes for Aubrey, 2 more votes for Michelle. And the winner of Survivor Kaoh Rong is Michelle.
Fuck that. I was livid after that result.
Yeah. So here's where I'm at. I feel I think that Michelle played a great endgame. I think that she came to the merge and she really became her own castaway. And she said it even earlier in the season. I remember her saying when Nick was like kind of like trying to push her down and everything. Michelle was like, yeah, okay, I'll pretend to think he's controlling my game, but really I'm playing my own game. And she has played a very strong game since the merge happened, and like. Knowing like she stuck by Julia's side a lot, but then really formed a game of her from after she voted out Julia, and from there on, and I think it was definitely a great finish for her. I think it was very interesting.
You finish yours, sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. And I think that if she was like up against anyone, like let's say this was actually a final 2. And Michelle won in the last immunity, or Ty won the last immunity, or whatever, and she got out Aubrey in the final. And it was the final 2 between Michelle and Ty. Michelle's an easy winner there. If Michelle was up against a lot of the people that got eliminated earlier, I think that Michelle deserved to win. The fact that she was up against Aubrey, someone that I feel had a strong game, that their strong game started a lot earlier than Michelle did. I feel that Aubrey at that moment deserved to win. Apparently, people did not. The jury did not agree with that, and that is fine. I think a lot of this has to do with who remained in the jury and who got out. That last twist changed the game. Go ahead, Gocubs.
All right, so I agree with a lot of what you said, Michelle. Out of the finale itself, Michelle played the best.
Mm-hmm.
Aubrey still did well, but Aubrey had such a fucking good season, and she was the one who convinced Ty to be like, "Hey, maybe you shouldn't play this idol," so that to prevent Scott and Jason from continuing to have power.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was the one she and Ty were the ones that made that play that was the vote that changed the game. This last twist that came in, Michelle played very well, but if Michelle didn't have that, Neil would be on the jury. That's another vote for Aubrey, and then she'd really just need one more to switch over. That Neil might have been able to do it. Yeah, I'm not trying to fault Michelle or Aubrey for that, because that was a great move on Michelle's part, obviously.
Yeah.
But a good end game shouldn't beat a good rest of the game.
Right.
And especially because Aubrey didn't even have a bad end game. Like saying that, oh, Michelle had a good end game. Well, Aubrey had a good end game too. Michelle might have had a better one, but Aubrey didn't have a bad one.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that this jury in particular didn't fully see what was going on.
Of
And
course.
maybe perhaps the like Aubrey even said it. She'd been kind of like the behind the scenes person the entire time. Maybe they just didn't look hard enough to see that she was the one making all the moves. And like Nick told Aubrey at the beginning to be confident, to show confidence. That was the most fucking confident I've ever seen her. She answered every question that was presented to her really fucking well and shut down, especially with Scott. I thought she shut down Scott herself extremely well.
And
And it pisses me off that she didn't get the recognition for the game that she played.
absolutely. And you know what? It's something else I was just thinking about. We were talking about how Debbie's was kind of the exact opposite of what Scott was saying.
Yeah.
What if Debbie was the one that went last? I think the vote would have been different.
You think?
I think. Because I think that the last thought in people's minds was
Scott saying?
Was Michelle was stronger than the end while Aubrey and Ty were weaker. Those were the last words that were iterated to the jury. That was the last words that was set in front by them. If the last words that they heard before they went to vote was that Aubrey was this geek warrior that evolved throughout the game, I think that Aubrey could have won it.
You might be right.
And
you're probably right.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think that I don't know how they decide the order of this shit. I don't know.
It's like it started with just the order of elimination minus Neil.
Yeah.
But then Sydney went after Debbie or something like that, and then Scott went last, and he was like in the middle of the group.
Right. So I have no idea how it I think that there are a lot of things that play to that really helped Michelle near the end and really made her game
winning those two challenges. If she didn't win immunity, obviously she would have
been out.
She would have been out. If someone else won I think if Ty won, he probably would have gotten rid of Neil or Joe. But if Aubrey would have won, she would have gotten rid of Julia
or Scott.
Or Scott. I don't know what she thought Scott was thinking. I don't know. Ty also thought that Scott might have voted for him, so
right.
Whatever.
Yeah. So it is this interesting season, that's for sure.
This is the hardest. This is the first time in a long time where it's hard for me to agree with the winner.
Right.
Last season, I still really wanted Spencer to win, but I see why Jeremy won.
Absolutely.
The season before, Mike, hands down, he fucking nailed it at the end.
Yeah. And I think that the season overall, this season was absolutely one of my favorites. I absolutely enjoyed it. But for the fact that the winner, I felt like the winner of the season didn't deserve as much as someone else that was in the Final 3. I feel like that to me.
I feel like the winner in the situation, I don't know. I feel like the winner has a big impact on how good I think this season is, and I don't know if that's necessarily fair or not, but honestly, Aubrey should have won. That's all I'm gonna. That's
absolutely.
He should have won.
Yeah,
and he didn't.
So a few more things before we end off. We should talk a little bit about what happened during the recap. Nothing too big. There was Ty, who got a visit from singer-songwriter Sia, who I like her music. There's a lot of things that I like. Chandelier, Cellophane is another one favorite of mine. So she's a very I love her music that she puts out. But she was there, and at first I was like, how do they know it's her? Because she's hiding behind the wig.
Right.
But I know that's just her style.
Yeah.
She basically was like, I'm going to donate $50,000 to you, Ty, and I'm going to donate $50,000 to an animal charity of your choice, which I thought was absolutely awesome.
That was awesome.
I think that Ty absolutely deserves it. I was hoping that I was hoping that someone would go on stage and donate some money to Aubrey. But that's all right. We knew that was. I guess that would have been too much to ask for. But Ty got something that he deserved because he's just such a wonderful person. Good things come to wonderful people. And then there was like a few moments that they talked with the different contestants, and they checked in on Caleb and what happened with the medical evacuations, which that's something that you could think about too.
This was a record season for medical evacuations.
But think about this: what if Neil and Joe stayed at the game?
Yeah, dude.
Imagine how
like,
different the game would be.
And even like I know I said it earlier, but Aubrey went through two alliance members who had to be medically evacuated, and one of them had an idol.
And that could have saved her. That could have saved her down the line.
Yeah, and she still fucking made it to the final three.
Yeah, I feel that if Neil and Joe stayed in this game, the shift would have been. I don't even know if Ty and Michelle would be there at the end. I think that Aubrey might have been.
Also, Nick might have lasted longer.
Nick might have lasted longer. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who knows?
It is just absolutely surreal.
Yeah. Yeah. There were so many factors in this season that just like, what if this went differently? What if Caleb had made it farther?
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. He was like one of the strongest threats.
Yeah.
And he had a pretty good social game too. So yeah. And you know what? That's another thing about the finale. I love how we followed Caleb for ever since his Big Brother season. From his stalking weird days in Big Brother, but then becoming like a more comedic character on Big Brother that we could deal with more, and a guy that was really likable during the season Survivor with his bromance with Ty.
Yeah.
And
I still see Caleb as a Big Brother contestant, not a Survivor contestant.
Oh, of course. Yeah. But what was so interesting to me is how the evolution of Caleb happened before our eyes. Because going into the Survivor season, he said, "Oh yeah, I have a girlfriend, and now he's married." And after everything that happened during the Big Brother house, and how he was obsessed with this girl, that was not into him at all. To me, that was one of the cooler, underrated moments of last night. Because I was just like, oh my god, we just saw a whole life just complete over the course of the past 3 years or so.
Yep.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
I'm gonna go into the points now.
Oh, that's right too.
Because I did decide to make this into a competition.
Yeah.
Why I decided to do that, I don't know. So because both of our champions, Ty and we were anticipating a final two.
Yeah.
And because both of our champions, Ty and Michelle, made it to the final three, or Ty and Aubrey made it to the final three, and Michelle won, we're not doing any points for the winner. We're going to say that neither of us predicted the correct winner this season.
Basically, yeah.
So no one gets points for that. We did, however, decide that since Aubrey got 2 votes, she got second place, Ty got third, meaning I got 2 points for my placings, bringing my total up to 9 versus Chris's 11. So Chris wins season 1, part 1.
Yay.
The points will get an overall tally
at the completion of the next Survivor season.
At the end of the next Survivor season. So we still have Big Brother. I don't fucking know how we're going to do Big Brother points, especially since,
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that we can do points for.
I just hope that Battle of the Block doesn't come back.
I don't think it will. I think we can stay sure that it will not.
Good.
So yes, I am. And another thing too that we should bring up too about Survivor. They did previews for that next Survivor season, and it is Millennials versus Gen X, which I am not happy about.
No, So Survivor, recently, has been doing a lot of, stereotype themes.
Mm-hmm.
This season, Brains, Bronze, Beauty, which I do really like that format. They've done blue collar, no collar, red collar. they've done an age thing before, like young versus old.
Yeah, but they just called it like young versus old.
Yeah, basically.
I feel like by naming it Millennials versus Gen X is like politicalizing it, and
Yeah.
like it's just like it puts a sour
And
taste in my mouth.
even in the preview, everyone was like, like they were talking about the stereotypes that the others have and the attitudes that the generations see towards each other.
Mm-hmm.
And once it fucking 3 weeks in, the tribe switch is gonna happen, and it's not even gonna matter.
Right. So to me, I'm hoping, I'm truly hoping that just like in these past few seasons that like the whole stereotype kind of goes out the window.
Yeah.
And
I would like to point out that Mari from Smosh is one of the contestants.
Yeah, I have not really watched Smosh, but
she's been on the channel for a long time.
Yeah, but I do love Let's Player representation.
Yeah.
In these reality shows, because I know that they just did a whole YouTuber season of Amazing Race, which apparently just sucked ass. But
I'm sure it did.
It was still. If
Bernie from Rooster Teeth didn't win, then
I have no idea who ended up actually winning, but
I don't really care.
Yeah, I've heard that the season it was not good, but it was nice to see some YouTuber representation of like those like I guess those kind of celebrities, I guess.
Yeah.
But, it's nice seeing a Let's Player on there. I think it'll be definitely true. I think that both you and me know that who we are going to end up rooting for.
Which tribe initially, yeah.
Yeah, us millennials. But yeah, I'm just hoping that like I think I can look past the twist.
Also, can we make a pact right now?
Sure.
Not to talk about the differences between them in the podcast.
Oh, of course.
Sweet.
Well, I mean, we'll just talk about the contestants. Like that's what it should be. That's what
right.
That's what the Survivor should be. But they keep on wanting.
When was the last time we had a traditional season that wasn't Blood versus Water or? It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Because so Blood versus Water was the season before we did the podcast.
Right.
Then before that was the first Brains, Bronze, Beauty.
They had All-Star last season.
Well, last season was Second Chance.
You have a second chance, right?
But also All-Stars.
Yeah.
So before that it was the Collars. Before that it was Blood versus Water. Before that it was Brain, Brown, Beauty. And I think before that it was the first Blood versus Water.
Mm-hmm. So
it's been a fucking long time since we've had a traditional season, quote unquote.
Right. So I think that what they should do soon is just go back to the traditional Survivor and see what happens.
Yeah. I think next spring we're gonna have another All-Star season.
Again? I don't know.
They usually do it every 3 or so.
Yeah, alright, fair enough. I mean, maybe we'll get some good characters on there.
It works better for Survivor, I think, the All-Star format.
Right.
Because, everyone knows how to play the game, and it's a more, I don't know. It's hard to say. I like the All-Star seasons.
Yeah, and yeah. Speaking of All-Star season, if we do want to talk about Big Brother real quick, that I've heard many rumors, and I say this every year, that Big Brother could be an All-Star season, but it seems like the rumors are really picking up steam from a lot of past Big Brother contestants, as well as other sources that have said that it could very well be an All-Star season or a mix. I'm hoping it's not a mix because that usually does not end well.
Ooh, that would be fucking...
Yeah. All-Stars, though, I would appreciate. Me and Gocubs have already are fucking Vanessa, no.
Please don't let that happen. I'm fine with a couple people from BB17 coming back.
Oh, of course.
If Johnny Mac returns.
Yeah.
Not going to complain.
Yeah, I don't think that she's going to do it 2 seasons in a row, but... so we'll see what happens. And hopefully no Battle of the Block. I don't think as far as what I've heard, that Battle of the Block does not seem like it's coming back.
My prediction is just that Gronkowski's going to come back every week. And just live in the house, not do any gameplay.
Yeah, just hang out. He's the beer distributor. I think my prediction is that it's going to be an All-Star season, and it'll be the first ever All-Star season that I'd watch. I know that there have been contestants that have come back, but it's been always a mixed season. And I loved Big Brother 14, which you didn't see, but I saw.
No.
It was a great season. It was basically it was a very like good strategy from like a whole bunch of different people, and it was just an awesome mixed. It was a good season, but overall, I don't really love a mixed format.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we get a straight All Stars for this summer. So the podcast will resume the Friday before June 22nd, which if I can think of the exact date. I have no idea.
I'm looking up a calendar.
That will be the
17th.
The 17th. So the June 17th.
We will have to record that earlier in the week because I will be unavailable that day.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I would like to film it before that day.
Right.
But we'll talk about the cast. We'll talk about the potential twists. I'm hoping that Julie Chen or whoever announces some sort of what like other things could be happening for the season, and we'll talk about all these different things leading up to the premiere, and it will be very interesting. So stay tuned for the season 2 of our Big Brother
Gronkowski
podcast.
or riot.
Yeah, Gronk or bust. All right.
Gronk or bust.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching Survivor Kaoh Rong podcast. We'll be back in September to recap the Survivor Millennials and versus Gen X, and we'll be back again this summer, like we said, for the Big Brother podcast. Until then,
Big Brother trash heap.
I'm hoping it's not this year. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
It's a cold and broken Waluigi.
Bye.